She asks, now that Disney World has announced their reopening dates for parks, do you feel Disneyland theme parks will reopen this summer? We spoke recently about Downtown Disney perhaps coming back online as the first sort of leg of the Disneyland resort, as Downtown Disney would fall within that sort of retail mall type atmosphere space that is defined in the phased reopening orders for the state of California. But as the phased reopening orders start to accelerate here in the state of California, which has been, I think, the biggest drawback, Florida's kind of hit the gas quickly. California has been much more of a staggered reopening across the state based on counties and based on, where you live within the state and counts and stuff like that. But we'll jump on over to Garrett first. Garrett, when you think about Disneyland potentially reopening this summer, how practical do you think that is?
It depends on how you define summer, because summer in Florida is 11 months of the year. So that's kind of a broad area. But if you're going traditional time, I do not see Disneyland reopening by August, because August is typically late summer. Maybe September get reopened, but Los Angeles and Anaheim is a completely different monster than Orlando is. Orlando runs on tourism, so and there's also a lot less people. There aren't 3 million people in one close area like there is in LA. So for Disney to reopen, I think late August to early September seems more realistic. And like I said last week, or when we spoke about Downtown Disney, they will not reopen the two separately. I think they're going to come as a complete package, because oftentimes people use Downtown Disney as sort of a gateway into the parks, because down Harbor Boulevard, there's only, you can't there unless you're parking at one of the far away lots over there. So September is going to be my bet in that. But when it does, I've known that they will take the cues of Walt Disney World to make it that much more successful, because I don't know, instead of having 4 parks, you're dealing with 2. So I think they can utilize the cast members, and it's already pretty well organized at Disneyland. Like, they've done it well for 60 plus years. So September seems like a good date for them to implement plans and actually see it come together.
So after summer, potentially the beginning of fall there for you. I know that cast members and unions are in discussions at the moment as to what a return to Disneyland is going to look like. And, I would say that the unions on the West Coast are very different from the unions on the East Coast for Disney. The unions on the West Coast have so much more of a ferocious bite when it comes to the company and negotiations and stuff like that, that there's even talk of, pushing this further down the line, potentially, late fall even, depending on what the unions want and are asking for. A lot of cast member hesitation, too, about jumping right back into work. I think that's the other big topic that we haven't really discussed, is a lot of cast members are concerned about going back into these environments. I think as many people in society are, those folks that are concerned about the health adversities that could be facing them based on whatever data that they're looking at. And then, of course, the individuals that on the opposite side of that, and just like, get me back to work, whatever happens, like, throw me back into things. But Tyler, do you think we could see a Disneyland reopening by Disneyland's anniversary, July 17th? I mean, as Disney World comes online for the beginning of July, you think maybe Disneyland might try and strike up some magic and surprise us for their birthday?
No, that's not happening, unfortunately. We are going to be Disneyland. You know what? I think after all these years, Disneyland probably just wants to be alone on its birthday anyway. So that's what's happening.
Order in.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, I just want to do some DoorDash and just chill. Can we please just chill? Anyway, I don't think July is going to happen whatsoever. I mean, I'm kind of closer with Garrett, where I'm guessing it's going to be like late August. Personally, I'm getting the thumbs up from Garrett. He's so excited. But yeah, I just think late August is probably what we're going to see. And I don't know. I'm with you. We have a friend who lives with a couple high risk people, and she is not too excited about going back to work, even though it's probably something. It's hard either way, right? You want to get paid, but you also don't want to be a danger to the people you love. So it's going to be a tough situation for a lot of people.
That's for sure. Katrina, are we looking at a summer reopening at any point or closer to fall?
Gosh, I go a 2 for 2. Let me, gosh. I would say like, it has to be like at the end of September. I feel like I know Orange County is really trying to push hard to open up everything ASAP. We've talked about it before. Orange County on the West Coast, not the East Coast.
Right.
So they quickly opened up like churches and all that stuff. And then like within like a day later, they opened up to phase 3. And I know they're really pushing hard to try to get restaurants open, full capacity, get it going. And I think they're trying to like push Disney to like say, hey, everything's back on. We're like earning money. Everything's good. Let's open up and like start bringing business back to the community. And then Disney's all like, slow your roll. We're going to wait. So I feel like it has to be after Memorial Day, just because I feel like Disney always gets busy around Memorial Day because like the day's off, school's going into session. It's like their last big bang for your buck kind of thing. Like, let's go to Disney. So I feel like it has to be after like all the holidays, and just to kind of bring it back into September, because it would be a crazy thing to open up in August when everybody's just like, oh my God, school's going back in session. We got to go to Disney and get the last like hurrah. And then I think that would be just a nightmare.
Yeah, I think they strategically avoided July 4th over there in Disney World.
Sure
and
did.
That's a good point, that they'll probably avoid Memorial Day too.
If they're smart.
Yeah, which they seem to be
Labor Day.
in a lot of ways.
I mean, they are. I mean, I'm glad that they bypassed July 4th, because I was really scared, because Universal opened up before, and there's a lot of people like to go visit, during a holiday. So I just hope that they wait.
Right. And we mean Labor Day, not Memorial Day. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
Labor Day.
God, I'm like the worst of the. Yeah. Thank you.
Quite all
We
right.
already had that one.
Yeah. It's
It's
all
the
right.
other
just
one.
happened, yeah.
I'm
They
sorry.
book in summer, don't they? Like that's
I
kind of.
know.
I've made the
I'm
mistake
so bad
myself.
with the names of these things.
Well done, Katrina. I will say, though, in knowing some of our sources over at the Disneyland Resort, we've heard a couple different times that it sounds like managers for different downtown Disney destinations are being called back to work right now for ordering purposes. That, to me, indicates that we might see a downtown Disney reopening before a parks reopening. I know Garrett subscribes to that idea that it's all in one. I think I've even agreed with him that it'd probably be a lot smarter, right, to do an all-encompassing opening rather than just downtown Disney, because downtown Disney, by comparison to Disney Springs and Walt Disney World, downtown Disney in California is a sliver compared to Disney Springs. And it's very hard to get back and forth up and down downtown Disney when it might be crowded. Controlled capacity or not, there are some tight corridors in there. So, managing downtown Disney first might be an experiment, who knows? But from our sources' standpoints, it sounds like they are calling some management back to work in terms of getting things set up for a downtown Disney possible reopening at some point this summer. It also sounds to me like, from a logistical perspective, to get those theme parks back up and running, there's a lot that goes into that, right? So you're trying to train tens of thousands of cast members to get up to speed on what's going on, and trying to understand how to handle a COVID-19 aftermath, a COVID-19 living with it even, and trying to deal with throngs of people that would like to experience things that maybe they can't even experience, right? Because certain things are going to be closed. We talked about there July the 4th, Walt Disney World avoiding that date. They're not even going to have fireworks, to begin with. So why show up on July the 4th other than it being a holiday if you can't even see the best part of it, which is the fireworks show. So we may see a Disneyland Resort partial reopening at some point this summer, especially as we hear people going back to work. But the theme parks, who knows? It's really up in the air at this point. So we want to thank you, LexiGoop300, for the question.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.